Yeah. Hi there, everyone. Just checking in minutes before we get started and just setting things up technically here. So I would greatly appreciate it if you could let me know that you can see things okay and you can hear things okay. And I'm always looking to my right because that's where I have the question box. Hey, Stacy. Hi. Hey, Chilla. Hi. Hi. Great. Great. Thanks so much. Oh my gosh. Well, you guys, I have a really big class here for you tonight. It was it was a little difficult to hold myself back from putting in so, but I really think that I'm going to be delivering to you lots of what you'll be interested in if you are in any way, shape, or form energetically aware, energetically sensitive. If you happen to be a practitioner that works with the energy systems, if you're brand spanking new and fascinated with this world of energy and you want to learn more. So I've tried to touch on a lot of those particular points. Some of it might be basic for some of you, but when I share with you how we can bring the world of energy and essential oils together, I think no matter what level you're at, hopefully you'll be very much enjoying it and liking it. Okay, so unlike my Facebook Lives, I'm not going to say hi to everybody who's coming on. I'm going to dive right into the content because this is more or less like a class. I want to honor your time here, and I want to just have this full of content for those who are looking at the recording. I do want to let you know that you have two handouts here. And I'm not sure what your panels look like on your end, but please let me know if in fact you can see where your handouts are. At least I'll ask Stacy and Chilla since you've already written to me. The two handouts that you have, one is a several page handout on vibrational frequencies of essential oils. I'm calling it an information sheet. And then the other handout is a one sheet that I put to combine the essential oils in the premium starter kit that are in the premium starter kit at this time, and which ones we can use for different chakras and why. So I'll be going through that just briefly, but do know your handouts are there. So can you just let me know if you do see your handouts or if anybody's having not? Okay, so I'm so excited to be here. I'm just going to jump right in and welcome to you all. This is a course that is available currently just for my organization, my downline, and Acres of Diamonds members. I have taught this in the past. As a matter of fact, Chilla went to my in-person class in North Jersey a few years ago, and much of this is based on that, although we did a lot of in-person hands-on, which we won't be doing tonight. But I can tell you that a lot of what I'm sharing with you tonight from that class, in which I actually gave contact hours for nurses. I don't have that available for you tonight. But yes, okay. Brittany saying I don't see the handouts, and Linda saying she did print the handouts. I'll tell you what, okay, handouts are there. If one of you wouldn't mind typing in where they can find the, because I can't see it on your end where they are. It should be in your little control panel that you have. So if somebody would be so kind to do that. And I'm hoping the beeps of people coming in and out aren't heard on your end. And if they are, I apologize. I don't know if I all that right now. It's okay. So Linda's saying next to the question mark at the top of the page. All right. Okay. All right, everyone. So I'm going to share my PowerPoint with you. So, welcome to the world of energy. The energy that we're going to talk about tonight is not necessarily the get up and go energy or, oh, I have a lot of energy, but it's more about times and also known as, AKA, as chi and prana, life force. So, when we get into some of these energetic um, these terms will be very familiar to you if you like take yoga classes or if you do qigong or any of the martial arts. So it's really about our life force and our vitality. So when we talk about energy tonight, when I talk about energy tonight, it's subtle energy. Okay. All right, so let me go into a definition of energy healing. Energy healing is a form of healing that manipulates, restores, or balances the flow of energy in the body. The energy moves through and is channeled by practitioners to the recipient. And again, even if practitioner or somebody that works in this realm, um, you are still somebody that can, quote unquote, channel or move energy, right? Oh, let me get my face out of there so we can see. Okay, let's see. I have to move my webcam. Hold on, guys. All right. Let's see. Okay. Um, all right. And so what it does is it helps to remove energy deficiency and blockages, basically what energy healing does in general. And this is the key point to it, whether it's energy healing and or essential oils. These modalities, especially together, allows the body to heal itself. So as an energy healer myself, come across people that are under the impression that when we say we are healers or energy healers, that we have some type of special powers. And it's really not about that. True energy healing in the present day and age, and it is a designated profession, professional healership. It's really about being trained, or even just starting to work with it with conscious awareness in a way that allows the body to heal itself. So we're just talking about putting people and pets and environments in a state of harmony and balance so the divine design can actually take place, right? Okay, and let me see. I need to get out of um, my normal. Okay. Oh, there we go. Oh, I want to erase. Hold on. I want to erase my drawings here. Okay, just getting my technicalities set up here. Okay, so other terms I want to talk about is vibration. I want to mention the physics definition and the informal definition. The physics definition is oscillation of an electromagnetic wave. So there actually is science here we're going to talk about tonight. The informal definition is an invisible atmosphere. Vibration would be an invisible atmosphere, silently communicates and felt by others. So, it's the type of thing if you walk into a room and you pick up certain vibes from people, right? You just have you have a feeling, a nonverbal communication that takes place. And that's really what we're talking about. The other definition is frequency. And that's more or less to do with physics, the rate of vibration that constitutes a wave in an electromagnetic field. Okay, I don't want to get scientific with you here, but I do want to let you know that there is a scientific basis here, and I'm going to give you a really simple lesson in quantum physics in a few minutes. But I want to start out by talking about energy anatomy. Okay, and so how I'm going to take this course with you tonight is I'm going to actually, before I even talk about that, I want to give you a little background. But after I give you my background, then I'm going to talk about energy anatomy. Then I'm going to talk about the vibrational use and frequencies of essential oils and how we can bring them together. But you know what? I'm going to put myself on stage here for a minute, you guys, which I don't always like to do. But this is actually going to set the stage here. And it's really what I intended to do before I even dived in that much. All right, so I want to give you some context of this because it's going to lead to the presentation and how all of this can come together. And there is a little story here, and so I want to take a few minutes to share this story here with you. I think you'll find it interesting. And you know, I have to say that in my early days, and I have a background in holistic nursing and energy healing. For those of you who don't know me, I don't know if anybody's on here that doesn't know me, but it doesn't matter, just for those that might not. And January of 1997, I actually was keynoting the first International Healing Touch Conference, and it was in Denver, Colorado. And that was January 97. And 3 months previous to that, I staffed wellness center where we were doing a lot of alternative medical treatments and IV therapies, IV chelation. I had a colon hydrotherapy practice going on there. I had my full-time energy healing work happening. And anyway, Janet Mentgen invited me to keynote the first Healing Touch conference, and that was January of 1997. And when I went out there, I visited my cousin who was like my sister, and her name's Mary Rita. And she said, you know, spend a few days with me, you know, after your conference. And I said, I totally can't do that because, you know, I just opened this big business. I had this facility. We had a lot going on. And she said, I'll tell you what, I really want you to stay with me. I will give you a gift of an appointment with an angel if you spend a few days with me. This is a true story. And I'm like, oh, you have my attention here. What was that? It ended up that I did decide to spend 2 days. And she drove me out to Boulder, Colorado to have a healing session with this healer, energy healer, who had just returned from Turkey studying with this doctor, this naturopath who I never heard of before, whose name was Gary Young. And so she did this energy healing session on me, which actually was a raindrop therapy technique session, right? And first of all, I was very hesitant because I did not like aromatherapy. I did not like essential oils. I'm very, very sensitive environmentally. I don't like smells. I don't like chemicals. I can't stand perfumes. And I didn't like oils because I had been introduced to aromatherapy. But this was a whole different experience. Anyway, I could go on and on, but I'll just, you know, wrap that initial story up here with you. I had a raindrop technique, and the energy and the vibration and the frequency that was going through my body from these oils and some of the work on me was literally like, it just about blew me off the table. And I said, I have to learn. Wasn't even like a thought or a decision. It was like I was compelled, like I just had to learn more. So that was my introduction to the essential oils, to Young Living. And it was shocking because I didn't like oils at that time. So that I wanted to give you that background because my orientation to Young Living was all about what I'm sharing with you tonight. It was all about energy. It was all about frequency. It wasn't about and years, a few years after that, I learned about all of the physical chemical constituents, and I studied a lot about the oils, but it was all based on energy. So I wanted to give you that context before I dive in more here. Okay, so needless to say, I'll just tell you the quick little not end to that text, and that is that I bought the entire kit. We called it the big boy back then. It was I don't know, it was like $1,200. I think now it's $2,100. And I bought a. I went back to my wellness center and I just started using these oils in my energy healing practice. I had already been an energy healer in professional private practice for a few years before I used these. I used Young Living, and when I used them and I started incorporating them into my energy healing, it was like 100 times amplified. It was amazing. The results that I was seeing in people, the energetic shifts, the feelings that they were experiencing. And then, of course, I was using them too because I was using them on people, but I was using them for myself. It was just so much. Okay, so that's a little background story. Now I'm going to dive into anatomy. I want to share with you some wonderful anatomy and a picture here that comes from the artwork of Alex Grey. This happens to be one of my all-time favorite books ever. It's Sacred Mirrors. It's visionary art by Alex Grey. Alex Grey is the grandson of the man who wrote the book Grey's Anatomy. He's taken his grandfather's work in a few different steps of progressive consciousness and going from physical anatomy to energy anatomy. So I'm just going to take you through a few of the three primary areas of anatomy, and I'm going to tell you what a chakra is and how it works and why we want to know about it and why we would want to use our oils with chakras. So that's coming up. Let me just get rid of my let's see, here we go. Okay, keep jumping back and forth. All right, there are three main components of energy anatomy. One is the energy field, which is also known as, right, AURA, also known as a biofield, and also known as an electromagnetic field. The second component of energy anatomy are meridians, and those are the little lines that run through the non-physical circulatory system that runs through our subtle body that the acupuncturists will use for their needles, or acupressurists or shiatsu therapists use. And then there are chakras. This is something that's super duper important that I want to tell you about here, okay? This is one of the pieces that if you get this, you get energy works, all right? Let's go back. An energy field is also known as an aura. Say yes or no if you knew that. An energy field is also known as an aura. A-U-R-A. Okay, great. All right. So the definition of the word aura means to come before. All right. Have you heard of that term when we've talked? You ever hear somebody that might have a migraine headache or an epileptic seizure, and they say they have an aura before it happens? Give me a yes or no. We're going to be a little interactive here. Yes. Okay. Yes. Awesome. Thank you. So the word aura means to come before. So that is letting us know that the energy field comes before the physical body. All right. Stacy's saying, yes, she experiences an aura before her migraine. All right. So the energy field, the aura, comes before the physical body. Why is that important? Okay, I'll tell you why that is important. That is important because when we work in the energy field, then we can have an effect on the physical body. In other words, we are not a physical body that emanates an energy field. We are an energy field that results in a physical body. You get that? So we're energy first, and the energy results in physical body. We are not a body that emanates a field. Okay? Yes, so this is really important. And the reason why it's important is that we can work in the energy field and in our energy anatomy to have an effect on the physical body even before anything manifests. In other words, even to prevent disease, right? So when we work energetically, we are affecting the physical body in a way that we're working on the future of the body. Does that make sense? It's very, very interesting. And so much, I think, of what you're going to learn tonight will totally shift your perspective about things. It can even shift your perspective about reality. It's really quite interesting. Okay, so we've got the energy field, also known as the biofield, electromagnetic field, aura, meridians, and chakras. All right, so here is where I'm going to give you my 3-minute or less quantum physics exercise or lesson, right? First of all, I have to read this. I just love this, right? Hold on one second. You matter unless you multiply yourself by the speed of light. Then you energy, right? Isn't that cute? Love, love, love that. Righty. So, okay. So here is Marilee's quantum physics lesson in under 3 minutes. So what you're seeing here, you guys, is, and what I'm sharing with you really is a way I'm setting the stage for you to really see how these oils work vibrationally and energetically, and how you can work with energy, the oils to it, to have a huge effect in your health and in your life. Okay, so here's my quantum physics lesson. Everything is vibrating at a certain rate of speed, right? And what vibrates from this book, from, the chair you're sitting in, to all your physical environment, everything has a certain vibrational frequency. Some of the atoms, they're atoms and subatomic particles that are moving, okay? So the ones that are moving slow are the ones that has mass, it has matter, it has physicality. The atoms and the subatomic particles that are moving super, super fast and really, really, high vibration, they're not visible to the common eye, but it still very much exists. So, okay, so take my face here that you can see, all right? So the atom subatomic particles of this physicality are vibrating at a certain rate of speed. So I have an energy field, or I am an energy field that's beyond the physical body you see here. And this is very much exactly me, but you see it. And the reason why you can't see it is because these atoms and subatomic particles are moving so fast, it's not visible to the common eye. However, if you're trained, or you were born into this world seeing auras and seeing energy and seeing the non-physical world, then you can see it. Many times it comes by seeing color. So, quick little quantum physics lesson here for you. All right, so we talked about the energy field. Now I'm going to mention meridians are the second of the three parts of energy anatomy that are mostly used by acupuncturists, acupressurists, shiatsu therapists, and these are little circulatory lines. They're actually circulation that goes in the body that again is not visible to the common eye. There was a study that was done where radioisotopes were injected into meridians and they were tracked and followed. There is nothing of physical nature of these meridians that you see here right now, but they are energy tracks. They're energetic, they're non-physical. This is what the acupuncturists, where they put their needles, or the acupressurists work, right? But there was a study that I remember learning about that validated the true existence of these with a radioisotope. So that was always very fascinating to me. Okay, so the next part of let's see. Okay, so I talked already. Yeah, we talked about the meridians, talked about the energy field already, also known as the aura, right? And I explained to you that aura means to come before. So the energy field actually exists before the physical body. Okay, now chakras, and this is really important, you guys. All righty. I am so excited to teach you this. This is one of my favorite things ever in the world to teach. Okay, so we all have heard about we know that there's 7 major chakras in the body, or in our energy body. And when you're looking down on a person, or at their forward section, they look like this here. By the way, the word chakra is a Sanskrit word that means wheel. Okay, it means wheel or vortice, which means wheels are always spinning, vortices are spinning. Here is the side view of a chakra. Chakras. Now, this, you guys, is really super important because, again, if you get this, just like if you get the whole energy field resulting in the physical body, you're going to really understand what this whole energy thing is about. Like, why is everybody crazy in love with energy? I mean, intuitively we know, but not mentally. So I'm going to give you the mental picture as to why it works and how. It's fascinating. So this is a side view, and these are chakras. We have a front chakra and a rear chakra. Okay, so what chakras do is, let's just talk about this guy here. And his surrounding environment, this is all universal energy, right? The room you're sitting in right now, we're all surrounded by universal energy. When we go outside and we're around trees and nature, it feels awesome. When we're down the beach and near water, we really can feel it because of all of these wonderful negative ions. Anyway, we're always surrounded by the universal energy field. What chakras do is they're always spinning, okay? They're ideally always in movement. They're taking, and I'm going to get a little pen here, they're taking universal energy and they're pulling it in, right? They're pulling in the universal energy, right? So it's pulling in energy. These chakras pull in energy. All of the chakras, that's what they are supposed to do. They pull in energy from the universal energy field. Goes in and goes in and goes in. This is what we want them to do. We want them to be open and pulling in energy. And these chakras feed different parts of the body. And in your handout, I gave you some of that information. I'll go over that briefly with you. So the root chakra, actually, the crown chakra and the root chakra go up from the bottom. They go this way. This feeds the spinal cord, the kidneys, the adrenals. The second chakra feeds the anatomy here. Third chakra, anatomy here, digestion. Fourth chakra feeds like the chest, the heart, the respiratory system. Fifth chakra, the throat. Sixth chakra, upper brain. Seventh chakra, top brain. Okay, so the reason that we want to know about this and we want our chakras to be open, and by the way, essential oils open chakras. So this is where I want to go with this, right? Is that when chakras are blocked or they're not pulling in the energy, because the universal energy is actually it feeds our body, it feeds our energy system. When they're not, then that part of our body is not getting chi, it's not getting vital force, it's not getting the energy it wants and actually needs to live on. You know, in Chinese medicine, vitality and chi, you know, and in Eastern medicine and Eastern philosophies, chi is what it's all about. So we need, you know, we need to bring more of this into our Western understanding, and we're doing that here with certain things. Okay, so anyway, this is so important that you get this, and thanks for hanging in there. It's going to get a little more interesting when I start bringing the oils in, but hopefully this is helpful for you so far. Okay, so that's what chakras do, and very important to know. All right, so like I said, it's a Sanskrit word that means wheel. There's seven major chakras and many minor chakras. And here's something else that's really important, especially when it comes to those of you who love yoga, right? The chakras are associated with endocrine glands. And just mentioning, and I am going to talk about yoga in a little bit too, all the yoga postures are designed to open chakras, right? Just like, and I'm going to share with you how oils can do that too. But the important thing is, especially when it comes to our hormones, that the chakras, each and every chakra is highly associated with our endocrine system. And so, all right, I'm going to take some of this that might sound esoteric to you, but it really is scientific, and put it into more practical terms. So like if you're dealing with hormonal issues, right? And, you know, we've got an oil for that, right? There's things that we can do. But the most important thing too is to make sure our chakras are open and that we're feeding our chakras, each and every one, because each and every chakra is associated with an endocrine gland. And our endocrine gland is all about the hormones, right? Root chakra actually feeds the adrenals, which is in the kidney, above the kidneys, but it goes up the spine. Second chakra are the reproductive, you know, the gonads, for women, the ovaries, for men, the testes. Third chakra is the pancreas, super duper important. And this, you know, the spleen too, sometimes that's I don't know, that's not really considered an endocrine gland, but pancreas is. The heart chakra is really about the thymus, which is called the high heart. The throat chakra is about the thyroid. The sixth chakra is about the pituitary, and the seventh is about the pineal. But, you know, the pituitary is the master gland that takes care of all of the hormones. So chakras are really important when it comes to hormonal balancing, but as well as everything else. I mean, third chakra is also important when it comes to digestion and stomach, right? Fourth for heart and circulatory system, right? But the function of the chakras are really about, you know, it's really about bringing in chi and universal energy. Okay. So I just explained that, but this picture I have here, it's so crazy awesome. I mean, you guys, you've seen pictures of you like this before. I'm sure you have, right? This is really what a chakra looks like. Now, this is the seventh chakra. This is the crown chakra. Petals, it looks like a flower. It's beautiful when you can really see it. It's a crazy awesome system and part of our anatomy that is just, you know, just beautiful. Okay, so All right, let me just erase this, and thanks for being patient with my, okay, so I pretty much already said this, but I'll just quickly go through it. And in this handout that you have, by the way, to print out, I do have some of this information here. And you know what, there's so much more to say about the chakras, but I'm not going to get into that tonight. You know, they all are associated with a color, which are the colors of the rainbow. They have a musical note. There are wonderful affirmations you can use with it. There's great ways to use oils with them. It's just a beautiful thing, really quite beautiful. Okay. All right. I did already go through this definition with you. All right. So now we're going to get into a little bit of the energy healing. But you know what? Like, for those of you, because I actually know a few people, you know, shared this with me before, that I did like an informal survey, and it's like, who here knows about energy? Like, I want to know who my audience is going to be tonight, because this has been my my profession for many, many years. Brought me into Young Living, even though a lot of you guys probably know me just the past few years about, you know, Young Living business and marketing and all of that. But this is truly who I am. This is my real love, because I am a healer. And so I can assume that people know certain things, and I didn't know who was going to be here. So some people told me I'm brand new, I don't know anything. Some people said, you know, oh, I've been Reiki master for years, and some people already into a healing touch. But whoever you are, let's just take a moment, feel the vibe. Okay. So I want to do this now for myself, but if you haven't done this exercise yet before, it's just, you know, rubbing your hands together and starting to feel the energy, right? So you can feel the energy between your hands. It's called an energy ball. In-person classes, we do that a lot. It's really a lot of fun. This is how we start working with them. Down the road, I'm going to have you do this with an oil in your hand. But anyway, I just wanted to take a little energy break to feel the vibe right now. I apologize for the noise in the background. This is my buddy Prin, who is still dealing with a bad cough. My little boy, my little doggy. Okay, energy modalities. And I'm going to get into how to use oils with the different modalities. Alrighty, so move this out of the way. Okay, energy healing, acupuncture, acupressure, shiatsu, Ayurveda can be considered certain practices there, or an energy modality, and even yoga, you know, and you probably can come up with some more that I didn't put here. But popular energy healing programs, and what a lot of people do with energy healing these days, which is what, you know, I'm sure you're familiar with, at least Reiki, Healing Touch, Barbara Brennan, Healing Science, Donna Eden, Energy Medicine, and, you know, there's definitely more, you know, more energy modalities coming out, and probably some that I haven't necessarily said yet. You know, actually the tapping, that's another, is that EFT? That's another one I didn't put up here. Any energy modality that there is out there, we can combine with the essential oils. But now what I'm going to do is I want to get into the whole energetic and vibrational connection with the oils. Okay. All right, so here we go. It's time for those of you oilers out there to put on your new glasses. You're actually going to see your essential oils in a whole new way, okay? Yeah, it's time to put on energy eyes. And this is what I'm going to share with you coming up. I'm very excited. So, the world of essential oils. Not perfume grade, totally important. Definitely not. And that is why I could not stand aromatherapy in my early days of holistic nursing. And, you know, I had to learn the modalities from A to Z. When we started with A and aromatherapy, it's like, I will pass because so many oils, at least years ago, everything that was out there was perfume grade until Gary Young came along. And, you know, I've been doing this in January, it'll be 22 years. And Gary Young truly changed the face of aromatherapy in the world. I never said aromatherapy when I started working with the oils. I always said the therapeutic use of essential oils because it's like apples and oranges. But now, you know, the terms can be used interchangeably, but most people today talk about essential oils. And of course, everything I'm talking about here tonight, I don't have to tell you this because it's preaching to the choir, but if you happen to take some of this information and turn around and share it, you know, if you teach anything that I'm sharing here with you tonight, this is one thing you really want to say is that it's got to be Young Living or nothing else. Otherwise, you know, you will not experience the results and the positive effects that I'm talking about here, right? At all. All right, so what are essential oils? Now, remember, you guys, you gals, I don't know if there's any guys on here, that we have a new, fresh, broadened perspective of the oils. Okay? So, and again, I'm not sure what your context of understanding of the oils has been, but I'm going to assume that maybe it hasn't been around the whole energy vibrational idea. So, you know, we're used to understanding, you know, and learning about the basics of essential oils. There's this plant, and it can become an essential oil through the amazing process of distillation, which Gary Young was the master of. It's like he came into this life just to, you know, not change it. I mean, you know, distillation of essential oils goes back to Egyptian times. I was fortunate enough to be in Egypt with Gary Young on, you know, some travels, and you should see the way they made essential oils back then. But anyway, you know, he changed distillation. Even the European aromatherapists were just amazed at, you know, what he did, but with it. But the whole idea, and this is what makes Young Living separate before I get into an extension of what essential oils really are. It's how the oils are made. You know, when essential oils are distilled, there's three components involved. There's time, temperature, and pressure. And cheaper, less quality oils are distilled, high temperatures, very short amount of time for faster production, and super high pressure for faster production. But there is an amazing art and science to distillation, and Gary Young never compromised on that, let alone the plant materials, right? But it's really about how they're distilled. Now, here's why I'm focusing on distillation for a few minutes, because we're going to talk about how the oils have consciousness, and the oils are alive, and the oils we can talk to, and the oils can dream. All right. But when a plant is distilled to become an essential oil, the lower the pressure, the longer the time, the lower the temperature, the more chi, vital force, quality of oil is resulting, right? So it's just like raw foods. If you guys are familiar with raw foods, right? People talk about raw foods as being alive, and when you cook, if you want to maintain certain vital forces in your food, you don't want high temperatures and you don't want to cook them real long, just like the oils. Okay, so whoops, let me take some of my messages off here. Okay, so I really wanted to emphasize that point, right? But what are oils really? Oils really are consciousness. Oils are really alive. plants have consciousness. We can talk to plants and they understand. Hey, listen, you guys, I grew up with a mom that had us hugging trees as kids. So yes, I'm a descendant of a tree hugger. I'm also a third generation healer. So we all were energy healers in my family, and other women in my family are. My family name means heal. Haley is the basis, our family name, Haley. Anyway, so this is I just want to share that with you because this is my passion and my love. Okay, so now I'm going to be bringing that information that I just covered back to you, but I do want to hit on a few things really briefly about some basics of essential oils, okay? And if you don't know this, it's incredibly important that you do. Please know this, that there are 3 models of aromatherapy. And one is the British English model. And quite frankly, this is the model that was pretty prevalent in the U.S. Actually, in the early years when before Gary Young started, right? Everything came over from England. Everything was perfume grade. There was really nothing like therapeutic oils. You know, you'd find that in the U.S. You'd find that in Germany and France. But anyway, so when you come across literature, for example, that says never take an essential oil internally, always dilute your essential oils, that is because if you're dealing with essential oils that come out of the British English model that are perfume grade, you totally want to dilute them because they're altered. They have chemicals in them, they have fixatives in them. They're not therapeutic grade, and you don't want to take them internally. But when it comes to Young Living, you know, because Gary, you know, he studied with so many people in the industry, you know, we're much more connected to, say, the French model, which has, you know, really always worked with the ingestion of therapeutic grade oils, undiluted topical application. And then the German model really focuses around psychotherapeutic, you know, inhalation for mood alteration and things like that. So anyway, we're a whole different animal in Young Living, but it's important that you have that little bit of understanding. Okay, so each aromatherapy model has its purpose and its strength depending on the oil used and the effects desired. So our question is, where does this vibrational thing, where does the vibrational use of oils fit in? So let's check this out. All right, so we know the common uses of essential oils are, and you could probably, everybody on here could probably just list them right out, right? Inhalation, topical application, massage, diffuse through your diffuser, take baths, take them internally, cook, clean, laundry. I mean, you know, it's awesome how we can, these are the common uses. But essential oils can also be used vibrational, just for their frequency alone. So you guys, honestly, when I first started working with the essential oils, I didn't have a teacher. I followed my inner teacher, my intuition. You know, intuition means inner teacher. And I'll share with you how I started. I just would put an oil on my hand and I would literally run it through the energy field of my clients. I wouldn't put it on them. I wouldn't have them smell it. If I did put it on them, I would do it on the bottom of their feet. Because again, that was my orientation. And I'm so glad I was oriented that way because first of all, that's the only way I probably would have accepted them. But it was just like, that's where I saw amazing results immediately because I can read energy and I would assess a client and get a baseline of their energy field. And then I would introduce an oil and I would see these amazing things happen. Like, and the clients, you know, on the table, eyes closed. But anyway, yes, essential oils can be used with just for their frequency alone. Nikola Tesla, if you guys study energy medicine at all, know about frequency, he says, here's one of his quotes: if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Okay, we already talked about the definition of frequency before. So whether you know it or not, whether we know it or not, essential oils are always used vibrationally. Okay? They're always used vibrationally, but people just, I guess, don't know that. It's kind of like, I always liken it to universal law. If any of you have ever studied the law of attraction or universal laws in general, you know, universal law is operating all the time, right? Whether we know about it or not. That's why it's great to learn about universal laws, because when you're dealing with the law of attraction, you can work with the law of attraction. When you want to deal with the law of expectation, you can work with that law, right? The essential oils are always working vibrationally. And so when we, as people who are using the oils, decide to bring our conscious awareness to actually working with these oils vibrationally, then it's a game changer. I swear it, like, not only will help the person that you're working with, and sometimes I'm talking as a professional person that has clients, and I don't mean to just do that, because this is for anybody and everybody, but this stuff can change our life. This stuff does change our life. Alrighty. Okay, so this is something, excuse me, that I determined super early on, because before essential oils, I lived in the world of energy. All right, homeopathy, energy healing, acupuncture, flower essences, like everything, right? And what I found is that when you're working with a homeopathic or when you're working with a flower essence, these substances they do work on the energy system, but they take a while to step down through the energy field to affect a physical change on the physical body. Essential oils work vibrationally and physically at the same time. So they work through the field, but they also create a physical change immediately. So I don't know if there's anybody on here that works with homeopathy or flower essences, but if you do, you know there's a little bit of a time lag, right? And depending on how much junk is in the energy field. But when we work with the oils, they work physically, energetically at the same time, and that's really profound, especially as an energy person here. For somebody who that is your reality, you'll start to see that. Okay, so here's another thing: how the oils work and why. When two frequencies come together, the most dominant frequency will be the ruling frequency. The lower one rises to meet the higher one. So now I'm going to share with you, and from the bigger handout that you have, right? I'm going to actually talk about frequencies and hertz, cycles per second, megahertz, okay? But just know this, right? So together, one rises to meet the next. All right, so the science of vibrational frequencies, you know, I'm not going to read this whole quote, but what I'd like to point out here is that this Dr. Ernst is talking about this, there's an existence of a conscious and intelligent mind, and the mind is the matrix of all matter. In my orientation to energy healing, which comes out of the 4-year Barbara Brennan School of Healing Science, the mind is really the energy field. Okay, so just wanted to clarify that. All righty. Now, this is fascinating, you guys. Look at this. I want to show you Gary Young's first book he ever wrote. Okay, it's Aromatherapy, The Essential Beginning. D. Gary Young, ND, naturopathic doctor. 1996. I mean, I feel so blessed to have this copy. He didn't sign it or anything. I would have loved it. But just, I got to tell you, everything about Gary Young and the oils in the early days was all about energy, was all about frequency, was all about cycles per second. He brought in, and that's what like blew me away. And that's why I was so attracted to Young Living, because I understood. So what I'm going to show you here is actually from his book on page 35. He's got a chapter, The Frequency of Essential Oils. So you might be saying to yourself, why don't we hear about this anymore? Why don't we know about this? And I'll tell you, I have a few theories on that, but let me just give you some background on the early days of Young Living also. Okay, this was a book that we used. This was called the PDR, People's Desk Reference. The FDA made us change the name from PDR because it sounded like Physician's Desk Reference to EDR, which we use now. But in all of Gary's blends, he has a frequency that is connected to each of the oils. But let's just start at the basics here, okay? So this is the deal. The body can be measured in frequency. The normal range of a human body is 62 to 68 hertz. That's cycles per second. Okay, so here's an example of, you know, the regular, we're 62 to 68. If somebody holds a cup of coffee, and Gary, by the way, was always against coffee. I'm a coffee drinker, so I got to tell you, I would counteract my coffee with a high frequency essential oil. All right, holding a cup of coffee can bring frequency from 66 down to 58. All right, but then when you breathe in a essential oil, it can go up in 21 seconds. It takes 3 seconds to go down, takes 21 seconds for it to go up. Sipping a cup of coffee goes from 66 to 52, 3 seconds to go down, and if you don't use any oils, it takes 3 days to get your frequency back up there. So if you're coffee drinkers, if we're coffee drinkers, our frequency drops. But guess what? When I learned this, I was like, give me the highest frequency oil. I went and I got Sacred Mountain. At that time, I didn't have Rose. Sacred Mountain is really super high frequency. I would take Sacred Mountain, put it on, I'd drink my coffee, and then, okay, I'm using Sacred Mountain. My frequency's back up. How do you like that? Right? Okay. Alrighty. So fascinating. Everything in the basis of Young Living and essential oils with Gary Young was all about what I'm sharing with you tonight. It's frequency. Okay, so here's some more good stuff. And again, I have a lot of this in that handout for you. But here's other measurement, other measurements, right? So the brain is 72. These are in hertz, frequency rate, hertz, cycles per second. Human body is 62 to 78. Let me get my red bouncing ball. I think I have it here. Yeah, neck up, 72 to 78. Disease starts at 58. Candida, 57. When somebody's really perishing, they can go down to perishing, I guess, ill health, dying, 25. Negative thoughts drop frequency. Essential oils start at 52 hertz and go up as high as 320 hertz. Oils have a frequency that affect the brain, the blood, the body when applied in the energy field, massage, diffused, or in bath water. Pretty fascinating stuff, isn't it? Awesome, you guys? Okay. This again, I have for you in your handout. This is the handout that you have. I have an information sheet, and these are all of the frequencies. So let's just take a look at these for a minute, all right? Let's have some fun with this. Okay, So look at all of the numbers here. What's the highest? Oh my God, Rose is 320. Wow, wow, wow. What else is super high? Inspiration. Thieves, 150. Frankincense, 147. I'm sorry, Prinny's in the background coughing. Hold on, Prin. He wants my attention. He's just got to wait, the little boy. See, Sacred Mountain, 176. This is a really, really high one. Now, you guys, not to say that Helichrysum's 181, Joy's 188. Not to say that the other oils that are in lower frequency are not good. I mean, they're all awesome. But, it's just, like I'm looking at Melrose right now. Those are the Melaleucas, right? Tea tree, 48. That sounds kind of low. But when you think about the heavy work that the Melaleucas do, right? They're really good at combating fungus. And so it makes sense to me when you start to live in the world of energy and vibration and frequency, a lot of this stuff makes sense. So the Melaleucas are heavy, but then the rose is high, it's high frequency, it's beautiful, it grows, it's like, it grows in, beautiful environments with each other. I mean, there's a lot that you can say and work with this, depending on your whole orientation to energy. Isn't this a gorgeous picture? You guys, do you know that we have Northern Lights black spruce? All right. Okay. Oh my gosh. Let me just move this here for a second. So this is what's so amazing about our Northern Lights black spruce. Our black spruce is grown under the influence of these Northern Lights. So when you think about energy and frequency, and light itself is all about energy and frequency. Our black spruce is influenced with these Northern Lights. And that's one of the most amazing. I don't think we have it listed what the frequency is of black spruce, but the Northern Lights black spruce, but we can only say that it's got to be super high. So yeah, and here's a quick little definition, you guys, for this. All right, so hertz is a unit of frequency, and megahertz is an alternating current of the hertz. Okay, so just to let you know, and I mean, it's not necessary to know all of this stuff, but it's kind of cool, isn't it? That this isn't just like, ooh, woo-woo. We got some good scientific validation here. All right, so woohoo! What do Young Living essential oils do? They magnify energy. They totally do. All right, so this was a request, and I think, yeah, Chilla like ran this by me. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to put something together here. And so you all have a handout with this, because if you want to teach about energy and essential oils and the chakras, I think this was a good idea, Chilla, that basically you can use some of the premium starter kit oils for the different chakras. So this is what your handout looks like. I do have a little blurb here that says, these recommendations are strictly for the use of Young Living oils. Any other oils will not achieve any kind of specific wonderful result. All right, so I'm not going to take the time to go through each and every one of these chakras and why, but I will just skim through real briefly, okay, what we want to think of. Okay, so the oils in our premium starter kit are lavender, frankincense, peppermint, lemon, thieves, citrus fresh, panaway, copaiba, raven, and digize, right? We also have stress away there. So the way you can connect, and these aren't, die-hard end-all recommendations. These are things that I pretty much came up with, but you want to think about what part of the body the chakra is connected to and feeds, and then you'll use your oil that will support that. Okay, so the physical body, the first chakra is connected to the physical body, and actually it goes up. The first chakra feeds up what's called the vertical power current there. Panaway, because it's a physical body. Thieves, which is great for the immune system. Lemon, copaiba, for the physical body. Stress away. The second chakra is an emotional chakra. Fourth chakra is an emotional chakra. You can use some of the things. Lemon is very uplifting. Lavender, of course, is, you know, also uplifting and helps to support emotion. So anyway, this is what I came up with for you. And yes, you're going to ask me, how do you use these? And I'm getting into that in just a few minutes here. Okay. So let me get off of this page. Takes me a few minutes to keep switching this. So that's why I continue to look over to the right here. All righty. All right. That's the premium starter kit. But I really can hardly talk about using oils and energy without talking about these two. So, you know, when someone's ordering a PSK, and if they want to do it around the whole energy vibrational thing, you got to add these two on. There's just no question about it. White Angelica, Gary Young designed this for us as the person maybe doing, the practitioner or the person working on somebody else. And it's very protective. White Angelica, I'm going to use some right now, you guys. It's just so freaking magical. So Gary taught, rub it across the forehead, rub it on your shoulders. And if you're somebody in private practice, if you're a yoga teacher teaching classes and in between classes, if you're acupuncturist, or if you're just somebody working on people, or if you're a mom with kids at home and you want to clear your field, protect your field and clear your field, White Angelica is the way to do it. So, and basically, you're just putting it in the energy field. This, by the way, you guys, is how to, you know, just run an oil through the field. I'm going to show you some pictures coming up here. And then, of course, Valor. This is how I started my whole energy healing and essential oil career, was with Valor. The frequency of Valor is just mind-blowing. It has the same frequency as the spine. So not only is it good for the physical body, but people, when you run this through somebody's energy field, people feel this. I would open all of my energy healing sessions this way, and I'm going to share that with you in a few minutes. But Valor, of course, on the feet for grounding, and Valor for the person doing the work, Valor for the person receiving the work. If you're a Reiki practitioner, totally should be using White Angelica in your field, in between clients, before you work on somebody, after you work on somebody, and Valor on your feet. No question about it. All right, so I did have to add that on to, okay. So just going to talk a minute about intuitive tools, and then, oh wait, there's a question coming in. Will you give examples of how to use for energy work? Yes, Stacy, I will. It's coming up. And then fantastic graphics, especially with starter oil kits. Great. I'm glad you like them. Hope you can use them. All right. So intuitive tools. All right. This is really profound, you guys. And this is what I used to say all the time, because I didn't have any training in the early days on the oils at all. Guess who taught me guess who taught me how to use oils? Oils taught me how to use oils, right? Essential oils guide us to use them intuitively, and they really do. It's really a matter of like us being open to that information, right? But there are some tools. I'm just going to briefly demonstrate, because we could just spend a whole on that, but I'm going to show you about the pendulum, okay? But essential oils guide us to use them intuitively, right? Okay, introducing the pendulum. Here you go. I know some of you have the pendulums, and basically pendulums are a way to, when you learn the chakras, remember I talked about the chakras, and the chakras are actually, I usually do this as an example. This is a chakra. It's like my hands in a cone, kind of a funnel, maybe like a flower blossoming, a flower opening. And when you learn certain energy modalities, you're taught with the pendulum, because chakra means to spin. Chakra means Sanskrit for wheel or vortice. So you're taught to actually put the pendulum in the chakra. I have a palm chakra right now. So put the pendulum in the chakra, and the chakra actually moves the pendulum. You can't see my upper hand here, but I'm not moving it, the pendulum. So I don't want to like get into this whole thing about pendulums and how to use them exactly, but you know, there is a clinical certification program in aromatherapy that teaches this. That's Linda Smith created it. You guys know Linda Smith. She's in our Acres of Diamonds group. It's called the ISHA program, the Institute of Spiritual Healing and Aromatherapy. And basically, the pendulum, we can use the pendulum for a yes or no answer. Basically, you can do that by holding a pendulum over the oil. So this is what I used to use, because I use pendulums all the time when I would do a diagnostic assessment on my clients to see what chakras are open, what chakras are closed. And then I would take my pendulum, I would do that with a pendulum reading. Then I would go over to my oils, and I would just actually have my whole case of oils, and I would just put my pendulum over the oils and ask them, okay, because I would communicate with the oils, right? Okay, which one of you is good for this client? I would get answers. I know, sounds cray cray. Okay, we'll do maybe, you know, depending on your level of interest. Maybe you could tell me at some point you'd like to learn more about that or whatever. Pretty, you have to wait, buddy. I'm teaching a class. I'm sorry. He wants to go out. Wait. A little bit more time. He sneezes to get my attention. That's him in the background. Okay, so you can use a pendulum to ask, is this oil good for me? Okay, so now how to use them. All right, this is one of the ways to use oils with energy healing. One of the ways is to put the essential oil on your hands, and you can either hold your hands in the energy field over certain chakras, or you can run your hands through the energy field to clear the energy field. So let me give you a little description of how we can do that. For me, it's always about Valor. All right, so open the bottle of Valor, put a few drops on, rub it together. Your client is laying on the table, or maybe it's not a client, maybe it's a family member, and they're sitting at the kitchen table. They're totally stressed out. They're having an anxiety attack. They just need a little energy balancing with oils and energy work. So you put it in your hands, and I'll just do it on me because I don't have a subject here, because we can do it on ourselves, but just say I'm another person working on me, and you put it in the field, and you just run it through the field. You can run it on either side of the head. You can go all the way down the body. You can start up here and run it over them. You guys, we can use the oils with people without even touching them with an oil, without even having them smell the oil, right? It's all about bringing the vibrational frequency into the energy field. Now, I didn't talk about energy field disturbance. And by the way, I taught this work to nurses for many, many years. In nursing, that's what Healing Touch is. It's a nursing-based education, continuing education program, actually. And we have a nursing diagnosis, which we are legally allowed to write in our nurse's notes at the patient's bedside. Energy field disturbance. How is that detected? How is that assigned? Well, usually even before we do the oils or a therapeutic intervention, we run our hands through the energy field to see, and when somebody's stressed out, sick, pain, you'll feel congestion in the field, right? So, and I'm not saying you even have to know all of this, basically. I mean, I'm telling you and teaching you right here something you can do right away. Your intuition, with the knowledge that you're getting from this class tonight, and a few of these practical applications, you're going to be able to do this with people. So this is the first thing that I'm going to recommend to you, and that is grab your Valor. If you don't have it, get your premium starter kit. Get frankincense. You can never go wrong with frankincense. Get any of the oils. Pan away, if you've got physical pain, yeah, I'm saying put the oils on the body, right? But also after you put them on the body, and remember, even though we're putting them on the body, they're working energetically and physically at the same time, right? So after you've done an essential oil application on the body, let's say you're dealing with discomfort or something, then you can work in the field, right? Because here's a headache technique that you can do. Let's say we're using peppermint from your premium starter kit. You can just do, and this is a healing touch technique. I know a few people who are on are healing touch practitioners, but you can actually, just work with your hands moving and moving the energy, and with the essential oil on your hands to amplify any effects. It's very, very powerful. Okay, so that's one way. Let me go to the next slide, because I'm also going to be talking about, acupuncture, yoga, a few of these other ways, right? Okay, yeah, so I have a little slide here. One of the first ways I ever used Young Living essential oils was exactly this way, and it was Valor. Can't say enough about the Valor. Okay, next. Acupuncture. Alrighty. Acupuncture, there are different ways to use it. I do have somebody in my downline organization who's an acupuncturist that does use the oils. A lot of times they'll put them on the body and then needle. I have read about people inserting the needle into the oil before needling. And then there is somebody that very big in the acupuncture world that doesn't use Young Living necessarily, but his name is Jeffrey Yuen, Y-U-E-N. And he is published and an expert in essential oils and acupuncture. Okay, and my acupuncturist actually studied with him. So I learned about Jeffrey Yuen. But Jeffrey Yuen actually came to our Young Living convention a few years ago. He spoke at our convention. I was so impressed when Gary brought him in. Okay, so that's acupuncture. Acupressure, shiatsu, again, different ways. You can put the essential oils on the points. You can also, as somebody doing acupressure or shiatsu, you can put the oils in your hands as a practitioner and do this as well. It will be intuitive. There's no hard, fast way or rule on how. You will just know. And like I was saying before, let the oils teach you. They taught me. I worked with them for a few years, and then I remember bringing them to the Healing Touch group and Janet Menken, and she thought I was crazy, and I had them at a vendor table one time, and that's when Linda Smith was introduced to them, and she went wild because I told her about, hey, you guys have to know about the oils in the Bible. And before I know it, 6 months later, she had a book written. You know that woman, she's amazing. Okay, so all right, acupuncture and shiatsu. Yoga. And by the way, I am going to get back to some more techniques with essential oils and energy healing. Okay, so yoga, a lot of people with yoga, into yoga, use essential oils. A great reference, if you don't know what to do, is get the book Aroma Yoga, written by one of our Young Living people, Tracy Griffiths, and she can go through lots of processes on how to use essential oils with yoga. But there are different ways. one way, and I don't have this listed out, so if you're taking notes, you might want to write this down. One way to actually be to put the oils on you before your practice. Another way would be to diffuse during your practice. Another way would be to put different oils on different chakras for specific balancing. I don't know if yoga teachers sometimes have a theme for the class. They can create themes for the class. There's so many ways that this can be done. But needless to say, essential oils enhance yoga practice. Now, if you remember in the beginning of my presentation, I talked about what yoga is. Basically, the postures are designed to open chakras. That's really what the postures are all about. And the chakras are connected with endocrine glands. And the endocrine glands, besides just helping to keep our hormonal system in balance, the endocrine glands are also a very specific communication system that connects with our spiritual being and beingness. Even, when we talk about getting up into the higher chakras, and the pineal gland, the pituitary and pineal, communication for people who meditate and want to actually raise their vibration in a lot of ways. Let me just make a point about raising vibration here, because it seems like everybody, that's what a lot of people want to do, always want to raise your vibration. When I was really very active as an energy healer in a full-time private practice, I was so aware of this. People talk about, increasing our vibration. Yeah, I want to raise my frequency. But let me tell you guys, like, one very, very important thing that we need to be doing energetically is we need to be grounding, right? And if you want to increase your frequency, that's all well and good, but you need to ground first. There is a physics principle that says the lower you can go, the higher you can go. So even so with yoga and other practices as well, I would really emphasize the grounding. So for me, I would put Valor on my feet before class, but I'm all about Valor. For you, it might be something else. Look at your frequency chart, right, that I gave you to use as an information sheet. Maybe some of the lower frequency oils you would want to use for grounding, right? That's not a bad thing, but ground before you elevate, right? So make sure you're stabilized. Okay, so there are many creative ways. There's no right or wrong. There's no super protocol. If you're out there as a creative healer entrepreneur, you could even come up with something that you design yourself. Oh, this is my stress reduction yoga class, and these are the oils that we're going to use. We're going to focus on the first chakra, because the first chakra feeds not only the spine and the kidneys, but the adrenals. The adrenals are our endocrine glands that secrete 32 different hormones that give us our ability to deal with stress. And today we're going to support them, right? All right, so I just kind of pulled that off the top of my head, but there's no reason why you guys can't do something along those lines, right? Now, if you're doing the Young Living business, and maybe you're not a real yogini or whatever, but maybe you have people in your downline that are yoga teachers or yoga students, and they want to learn more about this, like, bring this whole energetic piece of working with the oils to their awareness, because it's a game changer. I hope tonight for you is a game changer, to have, a new set of eyes on how you look at the oils from a vibrational perspective. And, it's almost like when you have energy eyes, you can never not have them. I often opened my Healing Touch classes with my favorite quote, and I'm not going to say it verbatim, but it's by Oliver Wendell Holmes. It says, once the mind has been stretched to a certain point, mind and imagination has been stretched to a certain degree, it never again regains its original dimensions, right? So really it's about we're broadening our perspective here. And when you have this broadened awareness and perspective, you will always have it. So I'm hoping that you will pass it along, yes, with others. So the next one here, okay, so practical ways to use um, bringing the energy and frequency and vibration of the oils into someone's energy system or environment, really what we do anyway when we diffuse. We're altering our, we're altering our energetic environment. Um, we're altering the energy in our environment with diffusion. Um, Here is a picture of healing touch or slash Reiki on our dogs. We can do it on our pets, our animals. So other ways, I know Stacy asked that question, what are other ways that we can use energy healing and essential oils? It can be this simple, you guys, right? Putting the oils in your hand and holding someone else's hand, right? Because whether you know it or not, we are doing energy work when we touch somebody with the power of touch. Of course, when we bring our conscious awareness to it, that can amplify the effects. And of course, then when we bring the oils in, it amplifies it even more. But using the power of touch and essential oils is really, it's a way to use energy healing and essential oils. Okay, so let's see. Would you apply them topically to the chakra area on the body? Excellent question. Thank you for asking that. And again, here it is with me where I'm just kind of, I have a hard time taking a beginner's mind thinking, oh, of course you would think that. No, I wouldn't put it physically on the body. So what I would do, let me go back on a slide. Okay, so I would put it on my hands, and I always did this. This is how I work with people. Put the oil on my hands and hold it over the chakra. That's one way. Or you can, if you're trained in healing touch and Reiki and you're more comfortable with putting your hands on there's certain hand positions that you would maybe want to know about, just to get a little orientation. You can work in the field or you can work on the body. Of course, the fourth chakra, you're not going to put your hand over somebody's, woman's breast. I mean, this is where a little bit of the training comes in, but you can always hold it. So the fourth chakra would be, actually, let me show you on me. All right, some of the hand positions. But to make it easy for yourselves, if you haven't ever been trained in Reiki or healing touch, you can just like put your hands over them like this. Fourth chakra would be here, third chakra, or you can actually, fifth chakra, hand over that body part. And another way is you can have the person put the oil on them. So let's say you're working on you. Yes, put your oil on, and then you're comfortable with putting it on your own body. I mean, there's so many ways we can do it. Another awesome oil to use, and I didn't even mention it here because I wanted not to get too complicated in this content, but is Endoflex. Endoflex balances all the endocrine system, which again is the chakras. So even putting Endoflex in your hands and putting them on your chakras, know the location of the chakras. So yeah, and then when you're doing it on yourself, yes, you would just wave it through the energy field. We could call it wave. And of course, you could take healing touch classes and you could take Reiki classes. But you know what, you guys, I'm all about like, hey, empowering people like boom, right away. You can do this and feel the effects of it. I love your questions, Stacy. Thank you for asking them because, again, they're really, really important, and I'm sure some other people are thinking these as well. So let me see what else I have for you. I knew I was going to go about 90 minutes, so I'm pretty much ready to wrap up. So another good way, and we don't have to do this right now because of the time, but even just taking Valor and putting it in your hands. If you really want to feel an oil in your field or on your body with just your hand on your body, Valor. valor, valor. Okay, so here is an actual how-to, which you may appreciate, Stacy. Okay, so here you go, Stacy. This is exactly what you would want. And I did create this for my class that I did. Gosh, I think it's been 2 years. Yeah, so let me just move this here. All right, so running the oils through the field, quote unquote, a technique using essential oils energetically. The person can be seated in a chair, standing, or on a massage table. Put your oils on your hands, you, the person doing this, starting at the top of the head, about 6 to 12 inches from the body, with your palms facing the person. Move your hands along the lines of the energy field to the feet. Do this several times until the person feels a shift. You can with the person, although they may be feeling very relaxed and not wanting to talk. Okay, so that is one way. And that's pretty much it, you guys. So here's some resources that I referred to. Hands of Light, Barbara Brennan's work. I can't say enough about it. Absolutely love it. Vibrational Medicine by Dr. Richard Gerber. Reiki book. Healing Touch book. And then what else do I have? And then essential oil resources. Of course, the Death Reference. Dr. David Stewart has the most profound information on energy and the chemistry of oils. I took his, I was like in his first classes when his care classes came out. And I was just so profoundly I was just so blown away. I know I can't even say what I'm trying to say. Because he actually has, and it's in this book here, his book that I have listed up here. He talks about the benzene ring and the frequency and the vibration of the benzene ring, which is an aromatic molecule, right? Just amazing. So these are some resources for you. That's pretty much it. So I give you all kudos for staying on. So many of you stayed on for a long time. But you know what? This was important information that I wanted to share with you. It came highly requested. I hope it was helpful. I'd appreciate some feedback if anybody wants to share with me anything about this, because I do want to teach it again in the future. If it was too long, if you wanted more information, if there was an area I didn't cover, whatever. So thanks for being on and being part of this class. I hope it was helpful. I hope you use your essential oils energetically, with awareness energetically all the time now, because they're always working energetically. Okay, thank you all for being on. And for those of you in Acres of Diamonds that hang out with me on Facebook Lives, I'll see you on Monday. Otherwise, have a great weekend, everybody. And don't forget, we turn our clocks back on Sunday night. All right, everyone. Love to all of you. Bye-bye.